want to create your own custom creations for your Cricut projects but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Shanice from Hypnotic Glamour Designs, an SVG designer, helping crafters just like you create their own custom designs even if they don't know where to begin. By the end of this video, you will see how easy it is to create your own design from scratch right in Cricut Design Space. Before we get started, today's featured freebie is the free upcoming workshop that we will be having next week. It is a 5-day event where you will learn how to create your own custom designs from scratch in Cricut Design Space. And I will give you more info on that later on in the video. All right, so 3 big myths that people have when it comes to using Cricut Design Space to create their own designs is: 1, they think that Cricut Design Space is a terrible program. So in actuality, a lot of times what the issue is actually your system. The Cricut Design Space software is actually a graphic design software, so it does have specific requirements that your system must have in order to run optimally. And a lot of people don't realize this and don't realize that their system requirements are below the minimum. So that's why they have so many issues with the program. That's why it's freezing up on them. That's why it's lagging, and that's why it just seems to freeze or crash. This is something that I also believed too until I actually dove into the program and started to use it for myself, and I realized that that was not true at all. Cricut Design Space is actually a really great program, especially for what you can do for free. It's actually a lot more powerful than people realize. The second biggest myth is that people think that Cricut Design Space is hard to learn. So the thing is, it's not so much that it's hard to learn, it's just that if you're never told what tool does what, or you don't know what does what, how can you learn? So yes, it is very difficult when you don't have all the knowledge that you need to be able to use the program to its full potential. So that's something also that we will go over in the workshop next week. We're going to go over some of the tools that people seem to struggle with a lot and show you actually how you can use them and have practical examples so you can see exactly how you can use them and what you need to use, so you know how you can make your own designs with these. And another big myth that people believe is that you have to pay for Cricut Design Space or have Cricut access in order to be able to use Cricut Design Space. And of course, that is also false. You can use Cricut Design Space completely for free. I have never paid for Cricut access, and I never will, because the features that they already have within the software is plenty enough to get done what you need for your projects. All right, so if you don't know where to start when it comes to creating your own designs, you think Design Space is hard, or you're overwhelmed with the process, then this is the place that you want to be. Some of the benefits of creating your own designs are, of course, when you create them within Cricut Design Space, they're ready to cut, so you don't have to convert or clean up anything before you can use it. And also, the designs are right there within the software, so there's nothing you have to upload. You can use free shapes, as I said before, so you don't have to actually pay for anything or have access to use it. And because the design is custom and you made it exactly the way that you wanted it, there's nothing that you have to manipulate. You don't have to duplicate and contour to make multiple layers, to make multiple colors, or do any of that stuff. You don't have to weld together the light colors because you bought a file that the designer either didn't understand how to put together a quality file, or they just didn't care and you have a bunch of little pieces that you have to put together. No, that's not something you have to worry about when you create your own custom designs. All right, so before we get into the actual design tonight, and you see we're going to be making this split bunny monogram that you see here on the screen. And this is something that I made already in Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make that. Just to rewind a little bit, a couple weeks ago I made a video on how to overcome your fear of making your own designs. So if fear is what is holding you back from making your own designs, go ahead and check that out. The link is in the group, and I'll make sure I put it in the description of this video also if you missed that, so you can go back and catch it. And then also last week we went through the 4-step framework that is used to brainstorm your ideas, so you're not having to just pull things out of thin air and try to figure something out on your own. So we'll go through that framework again really quickly. So the first step is you want to pick your topic or your theme. The second step is you want to pick the actual project that you're going to be making. The third step is you want to pick the graphics that you're going to be using. And the fourth step is you're going to pick your fonts for your project. So for what I've got here, I picked Easter as my theme, and then I picked the graphic is actually one that I made from scratch, and then the font is one that I had in my bookmarks. So, and we'll go through all that. So let me hop into Cricut Design Space, and then we'll go ahead and get started on making this bunny. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and use the shapes, and we're going to use the combine tools to manipulate the shapes to make more complex shapes, to more custom shapes for what we need for our designs. And again, this is something that's going to be thoroughly explained in the upcoming workshop next week. So if you need more help on that, keep watching the video so you can learn how you can register for that workshop. All right, so let's start by making the bunny ears. Okay, so here goes the first one, and then I want to manipulate the shape just a little bit. Let's change the color so it's not that drab gray. And of course you can make it whatever color you want. I'm just choosing the yellow. So that's the first ear. Let's do the little inside of the bunny ear now. And I do apologize for not having my camera on. I'm having a ton of trouble with my webcam tonight. Otherwise, I would be on camera with you guys. And also, while we're working on this, if you're watching us here live, go ahead and type a hashtag live in the comments. Or if you're watching the replay, type a hashtag replay. And if you're new here and watching for the first time, type a hashtag new in the comments. And these comments just help these videos reach more people just like you and help more people just like you. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit. Let's go in a little bit. Okay. So we've got one ear. Let's work on the next one. Tilt that a bit. And actually, to make this a little bit easier, I want to name these layers, which is a really great feature now that Design Space has come out with, because it's going to get a little crazy here with the layers, and if I don't name them, it's going to be harder to find. So this is the left ear. This is the right ear. This is the left inner ear. And of course, we're not going to have all of these layers left over at the end. You will see how we will combine all of these. So we just have one layer of each color. Okay. Now I want another one of these. We're going to make a little flap over the ear. Let's bring this to the front. that looks about fine. Let's just shorten this up a little bit so it matches our example that I made earlier. Okay, that looks fine. Let's bring this one back to the front. And then we want to cut a piece out of this inner ear so the flap stays in front. And you really don't actually have to do that. You could easily just send that backward and you get the same result. But what we're going to do with this ear, we're going to end up making it one piece. So in that case, it really won't work for us to send that backward, so we will have to cut it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Now, these two pieces can go together into one new piece. Oh, trying to grab the right piece. There we go. Let's just bring that back on top just for visualization purposes. Oh, it didn't go for some reason. There we go. All right. So for a second, I'm going to group these because I want these to stay together as I move them around. And I don't want to have to move each layer on its own. Let's just kind of rotate these into place. Okay, that looks fine. Let's group these also. And then just line these up. There we go. Now I want an even simpler group of this. There, so then these will stay together. Alright, now let's work on the feet. So same thing, we'll just use some shapes. Let's just start down here, and then we will move that back into place with the rest of the bunny. Let's just space these out evenly. There we go. Now let's make the middle part of the foot. Let's go ahead. These, I like those where they're at. Let's make that all one piece. And then that looks good. Now we'll make all of these one piece. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of a trick with the foot. We're going to do an offset, and that actually looks let's see, let's play around with it and see. Now that looks pretty decent, so we'll leave that as is. Change that to the color of our bunny, and then change the inside of the foot. And one trick too is if you have two of the same thing in the design, you just make it once and you duplicate it. Save time and save effort. All right.
I just want you to wear with me.
So now we got one foot. Let's group this together for a second so these all stay. And then let's just tilt. Make another foot. Flip it the other way. Now we have two bunny feet. Okay, now let's align these. Let's group both of these so we can move those together. Okay, now let's line all of this up. Oh, it's because that floppy ear is throwing it off, so I'll just have to align it just by eyesight. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, now let's make the split. Oh, that's not the shape I wanted. We'll just move that off to the side and we'll move it back once we get the shape that we're looking for. Oh, why did that? Okay. For some reason, that shape is not letting me unlock it. Let's try again. Okay, this was weird. Let me just save, just in case. And I probably just have to do it like this, which is fine. Okay, that lock is still playing games. I don't know if it was just the shape or if the lock is malfunctioning. Okay, yeah, the lock for whatever reason is malfunctioning. And I had this problem last time too. So I don't know what's going on. We'll come back to that. Let's work on the bow, because I don't know what the deal is with that. So we'll make the bow. Let's just make it big so then we can downsize it as necessary. Waiting for this to finish. Since I grabbed too quickly and I accidentally stretched this shape out. Okay, I don't know why. Just make a new one. Okay. Be careful not to stretch that. Okay, let's make this more proportional. Let's line these end pieces up so that looks good. And now let's line the center piece up with the end pieces. Okay, so now we have the bow. We'll change the color of that. And of course the bow is optional. If you don't want it, you don't need to make it. We'll move that off to the side for now. Let's try again with that square. Okay. Actually, okay, I'll just have to do it like that because this lock is still acting strange. Alright, so let's make the top and the bottom of the split, and let's move this off here, and we'll move it back to where we need it once we have it the way we want. Let me just get that spacing real quick. There we go. Okay. I should be able to grab both of those, but whatever. Let's just move them down here. Line these up. Let's unite these so we can manipulate it later if we need to. Of course, I stretch it out by accident, so I have to undo it, and it's taking forever again, which is quite unusual. Okay, let's move that back. I don't want to cover up the feet, so we'll just leave it like this. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now we don't want any of the ears to be showing beyond that split, so we're going to need to take that out. Oh, let's name this, although we know what that is, just, you know, for uniformity. And I'm gonna actually, I want those to be put together to make it simpler. Okay. Let's grab our split again. Grab our ears. Matter of fact, you need to make a copy of that first. Nope, not that. This program is really touchy tonight. There we go, I made a copy. Let's find our ears again. Here they are. And I apologize, the program is running slowly again. And I know we just talked about that being one of the myths of the design space. And I definitely exceed the system requirements, so I'm not sure what's going on tonight. Actually, I'm going to do this a little bit of a different way with these ears. I'm going to cut them out a little differently to make it easier, because I did it a little bit of the hard way. Let those go right back into the position that they were in initially. And I'm just going to undo one at a time till I get back to where it was. And this just goes to show, if you do something you don't like and you want to change it, you can just undo and go back to the way it was previously and fix it or redo it. Okay, this is taking just forever, so in an effort to save time, we're just going to do this a little bit differently there. And then we need to do the same thing to the pink because that overlaps just a tiny bit. I'm going to do that not the same way. Okay, there, that was much quicker and easier. Okay, so now we'll keep the bow off to the side. We've got our ears, we've got our feet. Let's add some eggs just for fun. And with this unlock not working, unfortunately I just have to use these handles, which isn't a huge deal, it just takes a little bit longer. Okay, so there's one. Let's do another one. And we'll color these in also. Let's just flip these to give it kind of like a mirrored effect. Alright, let's change these to fun Easter-like colors. Okay, so we have the eggs. Now let's add our name. And I'm just using this font that I downloaded from Creative Fabrica. And then just size that up so it fits. Actually, let's change the color of that to black because the gray just does not work. I change the name to black. We don't want it to really go outside of the split. We want to keep it within. Let's just line these up. Okay. Now, actually, we'll wait. We're not going to move the bow in. Okay, so now we've got our design. Let's see about these feet, actually. I want to tilt them in just a little bit more. Or I should say out. Okay. Now let's simplify the layers by color. So everything that is this pink, we're going to make that all one. Everything that's the yellow, we're going to make that all one. We just need to move that back on top. That's all that happened here. Oh, I missed it in inner ear, but that's okay. We can grab that. The left one, I missed it. No big deal. There we go. Okay, some of these might just be extras. Actually, yeah, that's just extra. We don't need that. That turned out to be extra also. We don't need that. And these are all their own separate colors, so those can stay. Let's move the bow on and just move that to the front. Okay. And there we have it. There we have a customized design made from scratch in Cricut Design Space. So, do you see how this is actually possible for you to make your own custom designs within Cricut Design Space? So, if you want an in-depth tutorial step-by-step of how you can use these tools to make your own custom designs, you're going to want to sign up for or you want to register for the free workshop next week, the Create Your Own Custom Designs in 5 Days workshop, where in 5 days we'll be going through how you can create your own custom designs right here in the Cricut Design Space canvas. It's going to be broken down into bite-sized lessons, so it'll be easy to consume and actionable to where you will be able to execute the tutorial, what you learned that day after the class. So that runs all next week right here in this group. If you go to guide number 2, you'll find the registration link there. And then also we do have a VIP option. So if you want access to the recordings, if you want additional help from me where you can ask me specific questions about the tools, or if you want me to demonstrate something specifically with the tools, or if you are wondering how something works specifically with the tools, that'll be the opportunity for you to ask at that time. The VIP sessions will be held directly after the free live event in the group. It'll be held in a private room. Also, with the VIP, you also get some bonus SVGs. You get a Easter SVG bundle that'll come with 10 Easter themed SVGs, a Mother's Day SVG bundle with 5 SVGs, and then also the money card holder template bundle. So the Easter SVG bundle and the Mother's Day SVG bundle, those are completely brand new SVGs that you have not seen from me before. So that'll be something that you can get as a bonus also. So let's see what else here we've got. Okay, so make sure that you are following the group and have your notifications turned on so you don't miss more tutorials like this. Also, tomorrow I am going live again in the group, and I'm going to be giving you a teaser of what's going to be in the workshop next week. So you want to make sure you don't miss that. Also, make sure you sign up for that workshop. So if you check the pin comment below also in this video, the registration link for the free workshop is down there. And also when you register, you'll get a free guidebook on some of the tools that seem to confuse people the most. The ones that I used here tonight. It's just gives you a foundational guide of what those tools are and what they're for. Of course, we'll go into much more depth in the workshop, and you'll actually get to see those in action and see how you can use them in your designs. So again, the registration for the free workshop is in the pinned comment below, and also check guide number 2 because that has some prerequisites to help get you prepared ahead of time for the workshop. So I will see you tomorrow with the teaser for the workshop.